Hello guys, gals and other pals. A few months back I tried a little high temperature experiment, which sadly ended with the quite catastrophic destruction of my laboratory oven. Now, to be honest, that wasn't too sad, because what I call my laboratory oven was just a cheap electric heating chamber I found on AliExpress, wrapped in ceramic wool and aluminium foil, ready to give anyone who dares to come close fibrosis. Therefore, I was already thinking about rebuilding it. For that I will use a bunch of cheap Chinese parts, some ceramic wool, and some scrap material I had laying around in order to make it as cheap as possible, just in case someone wants to replicate it. But let's firstly take a look at the old monstrosity and try to salvage from it what I can. I firstly started by removing all cables and connectors. After that I removed the numerous layers of aluminium foil and ceramic wool. Like you can see, it has definitely seen better days, if those days ever existed. Now here you can see the core heating element together with the thermocouple. The heating wire was cracked in multiple positions, but I still decided to keep the remnants of it. The thermocouple was kind of fused to the ceramic chamber by my last reaction mixture, and it took quite a while to get it out and cleaned off. Now let's build the body of the new high temperature oven. For this I used some sheets of aluminium I found at the scrapyard a few years back. They are very easy to form and can be cut with metal shears. I've started by firstly forming a cylinder by clamping the ends together. To fix it I used some simple rivets. Next, in order to put a bottom on it, I cut one edge in a way that made it possible for me to simply fold it inwards. Next I took a circle I cut out of the same aluminium and riveted it in place using tabs I created on the cylinder. And now here we have it, a fucking trash can. To turn this into an electric oven I firstly added some expanded glass bricks on the bottom as insulation. Next step after that I added some new heating wire to the ceramic cylinder from the last oven. The new wire was also bought on AliExpress for really cheap. To check if it works like intended I simply put an electric plug on it and stuck it into the outlet. Well, that wasn't really safe, and you should probably not replicate this. I'm just a mentally ill person having fun by endangering my entire neighborhood. Please don't take me as an example on how to do things. But anyways, the heating element was working and ready to get put into the oven. So I drilled some holes into the shell and placed the heating element together with its thermocouple into it. As insulation I added sheets of ceramic wool I had laying around the heating element, which did their job really well for the last one. To test if everything is still working as intended, I connected it to my temperature controller and let it heat up to first 500°C and then 800°C. The temperature controller is another thing that's really cheap to build. It simply uses a Rex C100 controller together with a solid-state relay. All of that stuff can be bought from China for about $20. There are a lot of tutorials about this controller, so setting it up is really easy. I just crammed it all into an old power supply case and added a GX connector for the heating element and the thermocouple. Like you can see, it works quite well. Lastly, I added some more ceramic wool insulation on top and pressed the top piece made out of steel on top. It's important that this piece is made out of steel because aluminium might melt. So now here we have it, a small oven capable of reaching temperatures of up to 1200 degrees C. Just ignore the exposed wires hanging off of it. I will take care of that soon. Maybe. Now the only thing left is to test it. And let's start strong and melt some copper at 1100 C. For this I simply looked around the room, found a few pieces of wire, a flattened pipe, and a blob that's over a previous experiment, and just threw it all into a small crucible. I then put that into the oven and started the heating. After 15 minutes it was already glowing red hot, and after 30 minutes it started to melt. Sadly, the video footage I got here was very bad because I accidentally flashbanged my camera with the oven's brightness, but the copper was actually molten. I also did a second little test in which I smelted quite a bit of aluminium, and that worked out great too. I loaded up a small self-made crucible with aluminium scrap and then put that into the oven, where it quickly melted. After that I added in more until the crucible was about 2/3 full. I then simply poured the aluminium into an ingot mold I had made for my large propane-powered melting furnace, and it came out quite nicely. Back here I already have a new high temperature experiment that, if it works, might even make it into a video. It might also fail catastrophically and not make it. But anyways, I hope you liked this video. Bye!